So I'd like to take you through some of the kind of traditional yoga poses. To begin with, I'd like to take through a few props that I just have lying around and let you know some of the preferences that I have. So first, what I have behind me is what I typically use, which is just a folded up blanket. It's very simple, but it does the trick for me. The key is that you fold it up well enough that the blanket is thick enough so that as I sit on the edge, my pelvis tilts forward. Beyond that, you have a lot of other options. So something similar to that would be this blue cushion, or turquoise cushion, I should say. Provides the same purpose. It gives that little bit of edge to it. This is actually crystals, so I don't use it. Another option would be a bolster. Sometimes you can sit on the edge of the bolster or take different postures on the bolster. It's a nice one to use if you need a little more elevation. Some other options are a zafu pillow. This is a nice posture, or a nice prop to use to once again prop you up. It's a little more small, and so something condensed. Once again, this is crystal, so I don't use it. The ones that I do use are the bolster, the blanket, and then finally the meditation bench. These are great for extended length meditations. So if you're in a meditative seat for a long time, it's a good one to use because it takes pressure off of your legs and your ankles, depending on the pose that you're in. Speaking of poses, there are 6 poses that I would like to take you through. The first one is Sukhasana. Sukhasana is very simple. It is called easy seat. So Sukhasana is crossing your ankles and allowing your knees to open up. So it's any cross-legged position, truly. That is Sukhasana. So it's easy seat, can be one leg in front of the other. This is typically pretty attainable for most. Moving forward, there's 2 that have your legs bent behind you. One is called Vijasana. You'll have your shins underneath you and your feet flat behind you as you sit back. This provides a little bit more of a lifted feeling, and it gives you the ability to place your hands on your thighs. What's nice about this posture is if it's comfortable over time, this is the exact posture that you use the meditation seat on, that I would just take the pressure off of my ankles and lift me up more. Similar to Vijasana is Virasana, which means hero's pose. This one, your ankles are a little bit further out, and then you sit down. Sometimes for Virasana, I would then take my blanket and then put it underneath my bum, or sometimes just any old pillow that you have laying around would do the trick as well. So Virasana is really nice to keep your hips lifted. That's the purpose of the prop as well. The traditional ones that I want to go through that I find very important for this sadhana, as well as other kriyas that I've performed for long periods of time, is called Ardha Siddhasana, and Padmasana. So these are 3 different postures that I would recommend to people based on what's comfortable with them. Ardha Siddhasana is where you'll take your left heel and you'll place it into your groin as close as you can, and then your left foot in front. Typically your base of your foot kind of points upward, and you find the edge of the prop or ensure that your pelvis is tilted forward. This provides this stable, lifted feeling. So your heel presses in on your groin, on the perineum, and allows you to kind of create what's considered like this lock in your root. So this is Ardha Siddhasana, or what's considered half perfect pose. Siddhasana is perfect pose. Siddhasana is similar to this, but similar shape, but it's much more complex to get into. It's something that I have sometimes in my practice. Here's how it works. It's the same shape, but your top foot actually goes in between your calf and your thigh, so that your big toe is exposed. And then the other one gets pulled up so that once again, your big toe is exposed. It may take some adjustment, so ultimately you wiggle around until your left heel once again finds your groin, your perineum there. And then you have what's called a toe lock. This type of posture is more balanced than Ardha Siddhasana. And it's also very effective in longer experiences of Kapalabhati, because Kapalabhati has the tendency to break you out of your posture because it's very active. And so because of the toe lock, it allows you to stay upright, still, even though you are doing this very active and rigorous pranayama. Beyond this, Padmasana is a very famous yoga posture that you can see in a lot of old texts, as well as people that want to show how good at yoga they are. So Padmasana means lotus pose. Lotus pose is where you take one foot and place it on top. Now, sometimes we get the question is, which foot goes on top? And I would say, whichever one is natural for you to put on top is the best one. So you put the top one up there and you bring your toes as close to your hip bone as you can. Then you bring the other one in and wiggle it on top. Once again, you find a balanced seat. Now, Padmasana is great because it has that same feature, or I guess the same benefit, I should say, as Siddhasana. You have a lock. So that way you can perform rigorous pranayama work or hold the posture for a long time. Now, that said, for most people, I would think that this is pretty uncomfortable over a long period of time. You may be able to do a short meditation like this without losing sensation or without experiencing discomfort. But over time, and I'm talking about a long period of meditation, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, 3 hours, meditations at that length, this would certainly be very restrictive in blood flow. So that's why I give you kind of those three in an order, because for some people this is very effective. For me, it's not. I don't do it. I do Siddhasana. And I do Siddhasana during my pranayama work. And sometimes I keep it. And I do it for the meditation piece too. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes if I feel this pressure from my ankle bone pushing into my calf or my ankle, then I say, okay, not going to do it today. And then I just take the top one off. And I take Ardha Siddhasana. With these postures in mind, keep in mind that you're able to select whatever posture you want and work on that one. For me, Siddhasana makes a lot of sense. For you, it may be something entirely different. Give yourself permission to take a posture that is useful for you for a long period of time. Not something that you can try to aspire to tomorrow and put a lot of pressure on yourself in order to get an advanced pose or a perceived advanced pose. It's more important to practice something that's attainable and comfortable, so you can stay with it for a long period